Hi, Alan Stratton from As Wood Turns. In 2006, I acquired a hunk of nice wet ash wood. I turned this bowl out of it at that point, waxed it, put it in a bag, and put it on the shelf. I intended to wait about a year before I remounted it and returned it, to wait for it to dry. But life events intervened, and it's now been a little bit longer than that. So I have this nice bowl. Its size will be a challenge. It's 13 inches across, 13 1/4 inches in this way, so it has shrunk a little bit that way. It's about 6 1/2 in the one and 6 in the other, so it is definitely warped. The bottom has definitely warped also. The first step will be that I'll need to retrue this tenon on the bottom so that I can even mount it to turn the inside. But then the bigger challenge on this one is it has cracked. Too nice of a bowl to burn in the fireplace. Big nasty crack through the rim, another one radiating out over here. So I've got to disguise that crack in some way, shape, or form. Let's go for it.
I cannot do anything until I can get a stable hold on the bowl. Fortunately, the original tailstock imprint is still in the middle of the mounting tenon. I put an old jam chuck on the headstock. Fortunately, it didn't need any more shaping. Then I aligned the tailstock to the old imprint and cranked it on in. It was almost perfect. The only wobble was due to the warping, but how would I have known the difference? I trued up the mounting tenon. The fresh wood surface smelled and looked good. Then I also flattened the top of the rim, only the top. I wanted to keep as much wood as possible until after my repair was finished. For the repair, I needed some reference marks. For these, I made some shallow grooves about 1/2 inch apart from the rim down. With the bowl somewhat elongated from warping, these only cut into the end grain and would be eventually tooled away anyway. This is where the crack is also. Now for the tricky part, drilling holes for overlapping plugs over the cracked area. It's hard to hold a big round bowl. I made a quick and dirty fixture to hold the bowl the right distance from the drill press post. Then I wrapped a ratchet strap around the bowl and the drill press post. With the bowl well anchored, it was now easy to drill a 1-inch hole with a Forstner bit. Meanwhile, I turned dowels to exactly 1 inch in walnut, apricot, and maple. I do not trust hardware store dowels to be exact. That, and I can choose exactly what woods I want. Then spread yellow glue on the plug and the hole and let it dry several hours. Then repeat for the next overlapping hole. I sawed off just a little of my spacer fixture to drill the hole about 1/2 inch further down the side of the bowl and glue in the plugs. And again, saw, drill, and glue. And again, saw, drill, and glue. And again, saw, drill, and glue. Whew, with all the plugs glued in and the bowl left overnight for the glue to dry, it's finally time to finish the bowl. First, true up the outside. It needs to be round again. Here my bowl gouge does a great job. Then on to the interior of the bowl. I recently purchased a tool rest that runs a contour inside the bowl. Being closer to the side made turning the bowl easier and more comfortable for me. I started with my trusty bowl gouge, but switched to a round carbide cutter with a big, long, heavy handle. The carbide did a nice job on the inside. At first I was quite aggressive. Later I backed off to a very light strokes. Then a lot of power sanding. Ash is very hard, so I started with 60 grit and ended with 400 grit and finished the bowl with walnut oil. I trust my fingers, but I verify with calipers. To finish the bottom, I used a jam chuck from the previous project. A little router pad cushioned the finished inside surface. I brought up the tailstock to the original center on the bottom of the bowl, then very carefully turned off the tenon used to mount the bowl. I removed the whole tenon and made the bottom recess in the wood just above where the tenon was. I added a little bottom decoration, then sanded and oiled the bottom. While I was at it, I re-oiled the entire outside of the bowl. Finally, I reduced the spigot holding the bowl to nearly nothing. A little final touch-up and voila, a big beautiful ash bowl. Yes, when drying from its green state, it did crack. But the overlapping plugs make for a pleasing cover-up for the crack. I didn't need to have the second short set of dowels where there was not a crack. However, this set of plugs make the repair symmetrical and appear more deliberate. I like the bowl and I hope you do also. If you do, please click the like button and add your comments below the video. And we'll see you with the next project.